Hey y'all, it's Lauren. This week I'm talking about renting and buying a home with realtor and property manager Katie Siplon. This is the Chicks and Dip podcast. Hey y'all, it's Lauren here with another episode of the Chicks and Dip podcast. Thank y'all for being here today. We have a very educational, informative episode coming up. We have Katie from the Three Chicks team. Some of y'all might know this, some of y'all might not, but she's a realtor and a property manager on top of all the other things that she does for a living. So she's going to come on and answer some questions about renting a home, about buying a home. I just re-signed the lease to my apartment, so this is very timely for me. And I'm going to ask a bunch of questions. Like, some of them I think are great questions. Some of them I thought were silly questions, but they're really things that, like, unless you ask someone, you wouldn't just know. You know, like, you're not born knowing how to buy a home. So I got you. I'm here. I'm here to help. But as usual, before we get into it with our guest, I'm going to tell y'all a couple of things. One, we are coming off of my birthday weekend and the party was fabulous. Last week I ran through all of the dress up things, and at this point I've definitely posted the reel, showing y'all how it went, but it was really fun. And so I want to say thank you to all of you for the birthday wishes. A lot of y'all wished me happy birthday on Instagram and stuff, so that was super nice. So yeah, birthday, good. I'm feeling solid. You know, I'm 26 and I'm walking on eggshells because my insurance does not start until January 1st. So I don't know if I should put that out there. Someone's gonna come for me. But I'm I'm not wearing any crazy heels because I can't roll an ankle until January 1st. For real though. The only other thing, and honestly, this is putting my health at risk. The only other thing I want to talk to you about is my outfit today. I'm wearing Skims. Take a good look. If you're audio only, it's like the kind of shimmery finish, like coffee kind of color bodysuit, like with the shorts and the high neck, right? And I did not read the sizing information on like the different materials. I've gotten like the Fits Everybody t-shirt bodysuit before and the tank tops, and they're perfect. Obsessed. I'm like an extra small in those. I didn't really think about like, oh, if you get a different kind of material, it might not have so much stretch. And so this is a size small, and I think it fits more like a extra small. And y'all, I'm not kidding. I put it on and Cameron was trying to zip it this morning and he's going, does this rip? Does this material, will it rip? And I was like, chill out back there. This is like my size. I've worn this stuff before. This will fit. Like, just zip it. Stop being so dramatic. He zips this sucker up. And I was like, okay. And so like, it's so tight that wherever I put a part of my body is where it's gonna stay. So I like had to put my boob where it needed to live for the day. On both sides, I had to move around my undies to get them there because they're like glue. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this will be my last time wearing this bodysuit. Unless something terrible happens to me and I drop like 30 pounds, which like, God forbid. These are going to go in retirement. If any of you are watching and you're a size like 00, please send me a message. You can have it. It's so cute. It's so cute. And the worst part about this was that like, this was a final sale thing. I knew that. It was like her Black Friday sale, and I was so excited. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't need to do any research at all, even though it's final sale. And so I didn't. And I also have this in a full long sleeve and full pant version. So that's going to be fun. I think I'm going to send you all a picture when I finally squeeze my ass into that one. Because it's going to be this tight. Like if you're audio only, can you see it? Can you see what I'm feeling? Yep. Katie and Calvin say yes. First of all, the way I'm sitting, I need to like try to breathe. I'm like hunched over, like trying to just find a pocket of air to fill my lungs. but like it's so tight around the waist that it's like making a belt. Like if I sit all the way up, it's just belting itself. There's not a crease there. It's supposed to be completely flat, and it's just like tucking right under my rib cage. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about this anymore because I can't breathe. And after I wrap up this intro, I get to take it off. Anyway, so y'all tell me how cute I am, though. I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to have a whole thing. I'm having a photo shoot before I take this off for real because I'm dead serious. This will not go back on my body. It can't. It physically cannot happen. I bet my self-tan is rubbed off underneath here because it's so tight. Damn. Katie said that's probably why it's brown. It was cream when I put it on. I'm dead. Anyway, we're going to get into it with Katie and talk about renting. But before we do that, I'm going to talk about something that has never, ever made me feel like I couldn't breathe, has only made me feel like I'm walking on air. Neutral. I love Neutral. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast. Today, I've got cranberry on the set again. I have cranberry orange and I have classic cranberry. And like I told y'all last week, the Neutral comes in regular lemonade and cranberry pack, but this time of year, like I'm vibing with the cranberry so hard. It has like a little touch of holiday and it's not too strong. Like sometimes, you go order like a Christmassy drink and it's like a meal almost because it's like, oh, Christmas, let's put like milk and cinnamon and all this crap and everything. The cranberry is like the little touch of festivity that you need without getting like super full. It's so good. Try it. Pick it up at your local liquor store. Order it at the bar. I've been able to find these anywhere that sells liquor. So thank you so much to Neutral for supporting this show. I love you. And with that, we will get into it with Katie. So let's go. Okay, y'all, I am here with Katie. Y'all know her. You love her. I talk about her all the time. But what y'all didn't know, actually, you probably did. She has a million different hats on all the time. And today we're putting on her realtor and property manager hat. What's up, Katie?
What is up?
That was the craziest intro.
That was so hype, and I was so not.
Let's get a bass drop for Katie.
Yeah.
An air horn.
Yeah, I mean, I need it. I need the extra pep because that baby I told you guys about literally taking over. She's living here rent free. Speaking of realtor things, she's living here rent free. She's a pain in the butt tenant, and she's about to seriously get evicted. I'm done with her. Done.
She's due so soon.
She's due so soon, and I was telling Lauren before we started, she better daggone be cute. Seriously, all this cooking, she better be freaking cute.
She's gonna be. I can feel it. If y'all are new here, I feel like.
Let's just hope it's not like a Filipino baby with freckles or something.
That might be kind of cool.
I don't know. I feel like that's real K-poppy.
That'd be cute.
Maybe.
I don't know. Roman is so cute. There's no way she doesn't come out just as cute as Roman.
Roman is cute, but did he take it all? Did he take all the cuteness?
No. Oh my God. If he does, then we're going to have a chat with him. Be like, listen here.
Yeah.
Roman.
Share some with your sister.
She better be smart, at least.
Yeah. She'll have a good personality.
If you guys are new here and don't know what we're talking about, Katie came on the show. I mean, literally, I feel like it was one of the first 10 episodes or something.
Also, have you not binged all of our episodes?
Yeah.
We're binge worthy.
No kidding. But if you haven't binged it yet, she came on the show to talk about motherhood and then at the end of the show announced that she was just now pregnant again.
I have 100 kids. By the way, 101 cooking right now.
Got another one. It's amazing.
That's me. That's what I do. Besides all the other things, I'm a constant pregnant person.
Yeah. So
this is the last one though, for sure. The lady at the hospital last night, because like I said, little turd in here has been rough, and she's had me locked up in hospital jail. Oh, I don't like to use the word jail. She's had me in hospital for a bit, and the lady at the hospital last night was like, are you going to have a tubal, or which is I guess what they do now. It used to be tire tubes, but I guess now they just completely take them out.
Damn. Oh my God.
They're like, no, thank you.
They just remove them?
They're just gone. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, close down the business. Shut it down. We're closed for business.
Good.
And Sonny was like, I thought I was going to. I'm like, everybody's doing everything. Everybody's going to do everything to prevent children from happening again. I am done. This is number 5. I now have a basketball team of children. I am Done.
Done.
DUN.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyways, real estate.
Anyways. So I brought Katie on, number one, to update y'all. She's glowing. She's doing amazing. But to also introduce another character. Like,
Yes.
we haven't really, so.
We recorded, but then that episode just, it was corrupted.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Calvin's shaking his head. We're not talking
It
shit.
wasn't Calvin's fault.
It wasn't Calvin's fault. So we recorded an episode with Calvin and Katie, and then I ended up just releasing the Calvin and me episode
You know
because we
what
didn't get to do
happened?
it.
Calvin corrupted it on purpose because he wanted his own show.
Calvin, he wanted changes good to be only him.
He's like that, guys. He likes to be the star. It's
Damn,
okay.
we're on to you. But Katie's back now. She is one of the many characters that y'all hear me talk about all the time behind this show. She's a part of Three Chicks Media. And so, yeah, we'll get into it. Like, there's a bunch of things that I go to Katie for wisdom on. Like, I've told y'all, she helps me with my insurance, but she has recently helped me, actually, like, within the last year, like, proofread emails, like, with my rental situation.
Yeah, we got into a fight.
Yep, we got into it with the landlord
fight.
I got what I wanted. Maybe we'll start there. Like, I kind of made a rundown, and I was gonna tell like about my 3 apartments I've lived in, and then ask you a bunch of questions.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so I feel like most of you guys, if you're within the 20, 25-year-old range, you're probably in the same boat as me. I'm in a place right now where I am renting. I rent an apartment, and home ownership is definitely on my mind. Like, I know I would like to buy a house, but like right now I'm not quite there yet. And most of my friends either own a home or they are where I'm at. Or, like some of my younger friends who have just graduated college, they're like, I can't buy a house right now. I just like got out of school. So they rent. But the first apartment that I ever rented, it was in college, and y'all are about to die. My rent was $400 a month.
What? That's like a room.
I know.
Somewhere.
Like, it was amazing, which that was, half of it. So I think the total was $800 or $850 or something like that. And it was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath with a balcony.
What?
Yep. With a full kitchen, washer, dryer, and the living room and 2 parking spaces. Yeah.
Bonafide.
Yes. Which, okay, I don't want to like get y'all too excited because like it was not nice. Like, it had carpet from like 1985. But I mean, a balcony.
Steal.
I know.
Currently.
I know.
I mean, could you imagine 400 something for anything right now?
No.
It would be per night.
Literally, though.
Or by the hour.
Yes. And so, okay, that was in Mississippi from the years of like 2016 to 2019. So, obviously times have changed. And the city has changed. So I went from that, and then I started looking in Savannah. And Savannah right now is like the opposite of that. But even in 2019, whenever I was looking, like, it was like a whole new world.
It's better.
Yeah, I was like, okay, like coming from Mississippi to here, like, I don't know what the average apartment is. And so me and my mom did like a weekend of hunting, and we found a carriage house, which I didn't even know what that was until I got to Savannah.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy?
I love them.
They're so cute.
If I was single and had no children, or even if I was like newly married or just like had a boyfriend, I would carriage house it up.
Yeah.
I love them.
It was perfect.
I love our carriage houses. They're pretty because they're always behind a beautiful house.
Yeah, exactly. You get like a stunning
You're, like,
backyard.
you give people your address and they come and you're like, but like around the back.
Right. You have to go down the alley, like you see the trash cans. Yes, come down there. That's my driveway.
Right next door to the trash cans. It's convenient. It's a trash chute.
Literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, my carriage house, it was $1,250 a month. And like, I'm not trying to like make this about money, but I wish somebody would get real about their rent. So I'm just going to tell you how much everything was. It was $1,250 a month with utilities included for basically like a large studio.
That's good though. Utilities included. That's
Yeah.
horrible.
It was.
I'm trying to do that with like a lot of our because I do real estate, but I also do property management. That's actually a big part of what I do. And on the real estate side, I work with a lot of investors, which turns into the property management side.
Mm-hmm.
And so like for places that I know it's going to be like students or like young professionals, I always try to do it to where like the utilities are going to be included.
I think that's so nice. I had never even seen that before, and so whenever they told me the rent, I was like, going from $400 a month to $1,250, like,
yeah, it's a big jump.
But then they said the utilities, and I was like, well, I mean, that's not actually that crazy.
When you break it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was a steal. And so I lived there until Cameron moved in, and it was just too small. So this is where Katie has heard my journey. So I found this rental, and I knew it was hella underpriced. It was $1,300 for a 2-bedroom. There were no utilities. There was no washer and dryer, no microwave, no dishwasher, but it was only $1,300 a month for 2 bedrooms. And I was like, hell yeah. And then they sold the house, and the landlord wanted to raise it to $1,775 with no upgrades. And so I was like, Katie, help me negotiate. And so I wrote out this whole email of like things that I would agree on.
Which,
and all
by
this.
the way, like I needed to do little because Lauren is basically William Shatner of negotiating. Like she was on fire.
I like pulled like this is so annoying.
She pulled comps. This is like part of our job. Like as a realtor, you pull comps. Like Lauren is not a realtor, but pulled comps.
I literally had like 4 links of Zillow properties. I was like,
loved it.
This one has a washer and dryer and is priced at $1,700. Why would I then pay $1,775 for no washer and dryer? I mean, it was the bitchiest, most annoying email.
So fabulous. I was so impressed. And that's when I knew.
Thank you.
We were going to do this forever.
We're going to be good. But I got what I wanted, okay? And so like, which we're going to get into that, but I just wanted to give y'all like a little history. So like, you know, like of kind of where the last couple of years have like, you know, looked like for me. And so like kind of where these questions are coming from me. But so yeah, like now I'm about to enter this lease and I got what I wanted. I got the washer dryer, got new blinds in the place, and it's going to be $1,775. And I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
That feels right.
Like he got what he wanted and you got what you wanted.
Yep.
And it was a good compromise was made. And that's a good landlord.
Yes.
You know, like because some people are just buttholy and they're just like, no, it is what it is. Move along. I'll find somebody else.
Yes.
But what people don't realize, what homeowners and especially new homeowners or new investors don't realize is the value of a good tenant versus more money. You can say you want X amount of dollars for rent all day long, but number one, if it sits vacant, that's costing you money. And number two, if you get somebody that gets it out of desperation because there's just nothing and they just need it and they suck, it's just going to cost you more money on the back end because they're going to not take care of your place. They're going to destroy crap and you're going to have to fix it. And it's just, they're not going to ever pay that bill. Like it's annoying. So there's value in a good tenant that pays maybe a little less rent to keep them than to say, okay, bye. If you can't afford this, leave. I want to go after this rent money, you know, this higher priced rent money. It never, 9 times out of 10, it does not work out.
Yeah.
It just does not.
Well, that's like what I was like gonna ask is, do you think it's like good advice? Of course, don't be like an asshole, but you know, like if you are in a rental and you know, like you want to negotiate, you think it's a good thing to remind them that?
For sure.
Like
always
I'm a good tenant.
You know, we have tenants that, and as a property manager, we sometimes start negotiating before it even gets to the tenant.
Oh, wow.
Like the homeowner will call and be like, market rates are this, like I want to go up. And then the amount that they're going up is like $500-$600 a month. And we're like, listen, you know, like I get it. Yes, the market does call for this amount of rent. But however, this is a very good tenant. You've had no problems. They take care of your property. Like you know, like if something breaks, you know, they let us know and we get it fixed, which is, oh my God, so important. Like if something goes wrong in your rental, in your house, it is better to call it in than to just not say anything. Some people, I've heard like somebody moved out one time and literally the place was destroyed.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, oh my God. Like, and they're like, well, it's been broke for so long. And I'm like, why the crap did you not tell us that? And they're like, well, because we wanted to be a good tenant and not bother you. And I'm like, for the love of God, bother us, because it's better to take care of something when it breaks than to just destroy a home.
Yeah.
You know, because then the homeowner has to go in and just completely like reno. Whereas if we can do a repair, that's better. But we can't do it if we don't know about it. And we don't know about it if you don't tell us. Now, I know that there are like some landlords and some people that just like are horrible about repairs and, like taking care of maintenance requests and things like that. I know that that exists and that's out there, but don't assume that that's the situation. Always try, because it's better to let them know, like they would appreciate it so much more, especially someone that wants to take care of their building or their home, like because they can get it fixed instead of having to completely replace or renovate a situation.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, you just reminded me. A couple weeks ago, my fire alarm was going off, and like I didn't see smoke, I didn't see fire, I didn't smell anything, and I was like, this doesn't feel like a 911 call. So I called the landlord, and I was like, hey, so and so, I don't think there's a fire, but can you just come check?
Yeah.
And I felt like a fool, but he was so thankful. He was like, it was just some dust on the sensor and it like set it off. He was like, thank you though. Like, I'd rather you call than the house go up.
Really burned me up. Like,
really?
Oh my God. And especially like when they put them in the kitchen, like don't do that. Like that's the stupidest place to put a fire alarm. You think in your head like it makes sense, but it does not make any sense, because like if your toast gets burnt,
done.
Like, freaking fire alarm. Literally like not, this was just like a few weeks ago. Me and Hannah were in the kitchen cooking, and the stupid fire alarm went off, and because I was making hamburgers in the house. And they're smoky, and I took a bat to it.
Are you serious? Yes, you just smashed it?
I got my stool and I smashed it off of the wall because I couldn't reach the ceilings. You've been to my house. The ceilings are so tall, freaking high. I couldn't reach it, and I didn't have a regular ladder. I just had the step ladder, and so I just told Hannah, I was like, "Go get me the bat."
I'm just gonna pop this thing off.
Just baseball batted the mess out of that until it stopped, and now everything's fine, and now I can make toast in peace.
There we go. Yeah. No fire alarms in this home.
I don't recommend you doing that.
You heard it here first. The Chicks and Dip podcast is anti-fire alarm.
Screw fire alarms.
Fuck a fire alarm.
Suck. Yeah, they're important though.
Whatever. Safety first. Okay, well. Okay, so I feel like maybe we should like keep on the rental like conversation, and then we'll go to like buying. So what we just talked about with my rent going up and the market and all that. So why does rent go up?
So rent. Okay, I can actually explain this.
Yeah.
And you saying that your building got sold is the perfect example to support what I'm gonna say. Rent goes up. Sometimes just because it can, like just because the rent is higher. So people that own the house will see on Zillow or on whatever the websites are for finding rentals. Oh, well, so-and-so is getting X amount of dollars for their 3-2. Why aren't we getting that too? Like raise our rent. Like, that's just greed. It's good business to an extent, but then beyond, it's a little greedy. Like that just goes back to my whole, like, if you got a good tenant, treat them right. Right. Because that's more valuable. However, like I said, I work with investors, and there have been a few properties here that I have sold recently to some investors that I have, where the rents had to go up. They had to support the price that they paid for the building. So, for example, there was one downtown. It was a quad. There were 4 3-2s in the building, right? The guy that owned it had bought it for like $30-something thousand, right? And then he put probably a couple $100,000 into it to renovate it. It was gorgeous, absolutely beautiful, historical building, like fabulous. And this was an investment for him, but he rented it out. He owned his own property management company, so you're saving a lot of money in property management fees there. So he was able to charge really low rents. The rents that he was charging there were like between $1,100 and $1,200, and this is like off of Forsyth.
Wow!
This is right next door to a SCAD building, and if you know Savannah, you know that this is like valuable territory, like high dollar spots, right? But he could afford to charge this low amount because his investment in it was lower. Well, he turned around and sold it to my client for $1.2 million. So he made a lot of money, which good on him. Like that was the point, right? This is what people do for a living. But my client bought it for $1.2 million. So he cannot charge that much for rent because then he's losing money at that point. There's a cap rate that he has to make. There's an investment, cap rate that he has to make. And a good rule of thumb that we like to go by is the 1% rule. So like you buy a building for $1.2 million, you need to be making 1% of that.
Okay.
Per month. Okay, so that's $12,000. So now these rents need to be $3,000 a month.
Wow.
So what a jump, right? Like from $1,100 to $1,500 a month to $3,000 a month. But the market in that area supports that rent rate for that size place, that location of place, and that building because it's gorgeous. So we raised the rent. We had to. When my client bought it, we told the people that lived there, which all of their leases were ending, like, hey, you can stay. This is the new rent. Mass exodus. Everybody left. But I had no problem getting it rented, and now it's full of people that pay that amount of money. So this is generally why. It's because somebody has bought the building and they bought it at a higher price point than what it was originally bought for from the person who owned it that first time. And that's why the rent has to go up. It has to go up for them to make that purchase make sense.
Right.
And they won't make that purchase if they don't think that they can get that rent. And we had done the comps and we had knew the area and we knew the building and we knew the location. So we knew we can get $3,000 a month for the units here. And we did. And they're happy and they're making money and it went as planned. That's not always the case. Like I said, sometimes you shoot for the stars with the market rent and it'll sit empty for a little bit. And if that happens, my investors will be like, lower it because we would rather get something than nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we need to try to tier up to it eventually to make that purchase make sense. So that's why. And during COVID, and this seems so backwards, but like during COVID, all the prices just went up, I mean, from everything. I mean, we were just the other day talking about eggs and freaking toilet paper.
$9 eggs.
Yeah. But everything went up, and that was including the prices of houses. I mean, like we sold our house, that my ex-husband and I had, for way more money than we ever thought that we would ever be able to sell that house for during that time.
Why did that happen? Was it people moving from other parts of the country? I hear that a lot.
There's a lot of that because even though it was expensive here for us, people who were selling in like the West Coast and up north, like they were getting a lot of money for their house. And they were still able to buy our expensive houses and still have money left over.
Damn.
Because it was still cheap for them. So definitely there was a lot of that. But then there's a lot of local people too. Like I had a lot of my business that happened during the past couple of years have been mixed, like have been, relocators from out of town, but also like locals that needed a place to find, to live or were ready to buy their first house or whatever. It just sucked that it happened during that time.
Yeah.
It was very, very competitive. I was explaining to you guys Sunday at brunch. It was so competitive that people were adding these things called appraisal gaps where they're like, everybody was trying to make their offer the most attractive offer because people were getting like several offers on a house. And within 24 hours, like a house would sell in like 24 hours. And when I would have a listing, I would be like, okay, showings are from this day to this day. Offers are due by this day. We're making a decision by this day. And that never was the way that real estate was done. You were just like out there like marketing houses and trying to get them sold versus trying to like sort through multiple offers. And people were writing letters, like love letters to sellers, like why you should choose us to buy your house. People were adding in appraisal gaps, like, okay, if the house doesn't appraise for, say the asking price was 300 and it went all the way up to like 350 and in the offer, and they were like, if it doesn't appraise for 350, then we'll pay an appraisal gap of like $25,000. So like if it only appraised for like 325, we'll give you $25,000 cash to make up for that difference. Insanity, because I'm like, you guys, this is not a midlife crisis like car purchase. Like, this is a home.
Yeah.
Like, this is an investment, not something you should go into upside down.
Yeah.
But people were doing it. People are probably, I mean, I think doing it less now, but I still see it.
Yeah. And so all of this affects, like, from the renter, all of this is like affects our rent going up. Does it ever come back down, or do just new cheap places get opened? Like,
No,
what's it look like?
It already is.
Yeah.
Like I've already noticed, like the rental market is starting. It's not, I don't think it's ever going to get back to where it was. I think it's leveling out at where it's at.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to keep continuously growing quickly, like in those numbers. I think it's just going to kind of stay steady,
Yeah.
like where it's at, and kind of live here for a while.
Yeah. Thank God. I mean,
Yeah.
I was getting on Zillow, like, whenever I was...
It's worrisome, you know, like
Yeah.
when you're renting a place, you almost want to be like, can I sign a 10-year lease?
No, seriously, I literally was looking at places trying to figure out, because I was weighing my options of, okay, what if he says that I can't get a washer and dryer? Am I going to suck it up and do $1,775?
Yeah.
Or am I going to find something new? And probably about 6 months ago, every time I got on Zillow,
Yeah.
the 2 bedrooms didn't even have as much square footage, and they were like $2,300 a month.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, it's just going up. But that's
Listen.
good to hear. It's finally maybe going to just at least stop. Like,
Yeah, I think it's definitely kind of like living where it's at, which is good because it's easy for planning, you
Yeah.
know, and budgeting, and kind of being like, okay, so I only need to get 10 jobs
yeah.
to afford those, so I don't have to prepare to have 20.
I mean, and that's a real conversation. I don't know, like, what kind of expert, maybe you, but I mean, I don't know what kind of expert can even answer, like why, or maybe how often do people start getting paid more once the cost of living goes up? You know what I'm saying? Like,
You
does the
know,
city and the paychecks ever come with it?
It honestly is territorial, I feel like. You know, Savannah's never been a place where you're making top dollar.
Yeah.
Right? Like at a 9 to 5 clock in, like, for a company job.
That's true.
The only way you're making money in Savannah, I feel like, in my experience, is if you're doing something for your freaking self.
Yeah.
And you're setting your prices, and you're setting your workload, and you're setting your expectations, and you're doing your hustle. And you gotta freaking hustle.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, if you're if you're getting a job somewhere, you're not going to get paid as much as you were if you got that same job, like in Atlanta or Charlotte or Jacksonville, or, you know, like a bigger city. You're going to get more money, but then you're going to pay more money to live there.
Yeah.
So it all kind of evens out at some point. It's just kind of like, what atmosphere do you want? Honest,
Right.
You know.
I think about my first job whenever I was in the $1,250 a month apartment. My paychecks every 2 weeks were $900.
Listen, I don't remember how long ago it was that I saw this, but from my ex-husband, I was like in a big Tupperware thing. I was going through like old paperwork stuff, and I saw one of his first paychecks that he got, like when we were married, like when we were first married and having the twins. We lived in this apartment, like off of Waters, and I want to say our rent was like $700-800 a month. And he brought home $600 every 2 weeks. and we thought we were high on the hog.
Well, that's what, like, I always hear these places be like
$600 every 2 weeks is $300 a week. How did we live?
I know.
I don't even know.
Well, I hear places requiring like your pay has to be at least 3 times the monthly rent. And I'm like, how did I get away with that first apartment?
Yeah. And we do. Like, that's one of our requirements as like for our property manager side. And it's just because people do get places out of desperation.
Yeah.
And then they can't afford it. And then we have to evict them. And who the crap wants to do that? That is depressing for us too. You know, like there's nothing I hate more than kicking somebody out of their daggone house. Like, that's so sad. I want to be like, I'm sorry you can't live here anymore, but I got a spare room.
Right. You can come over to my place.
Yeah. I'm freaking turn my house into a hostel or something. But it's really sad. And so there are these strict requirements, but these are the reasons why. It's not because we don't want anybody to rent it. It's because we want a qualified person to have it.
Right. So that both of you like can handle it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang. Well, see that. I mean, that's good to know.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of like good tenants, bad tenants. So I want to talk about security deposits. Number one, whenever you go into your rental and you're about to move your stuff in, like, should you actually be taking pictures of like every little scratch on the wall?
Yes, 100%. So what we always encourage, like, we have a very detailed, we call it a move-in report. We go, we fill it out, and then we give it to you, and we want you to fill it out. And we encourage you to take all the pictures and videos and whatever the crap you want. We're going to do the same exact thing because we don't want you to get stuck being responsible for something that was not your fault.
Yeah.
But if we don't have proper, you know, representation of what the condition was when you moved in, then it's like a he said, she said situation. Like, well, who the freak knows? Like, did you do that? Did you not do that? I mean, there's a hole punched through the wall, like where someone might have put a fist through it. Looks like maybe somebody got angry, you know? Like,
and you're telling me that was here before you got here?
Like I would have noticed that. No, we definitely encourage that because it protects you and it protects us. Because then if we do see something and when you pull up your pictures and we're like, it's not there. So, you know, like, then we can be like, listen, you really, because our job is, I mean, end of the day, like, we represent the homeowner. Yeah. You know, that's our client. And so we have to protect them, and in protecting them, we have to protect their home. And that's what we want to do a good job of. And so we want to get them the most money for their investment, and we want to put people in there that are going to take care of their stuff. And so definitely pictures and videos, we're doing that. You should be doing that too.
So what if, because this has happened to me twice, what if they don't even say a word about that? Like any kind of move-in checklist, like, you know, I've moved into 2 places with nothing.
I would say something.
Okay.
Like, I mean, they should. Yeah. If they don't, they're not very good at their job.
So you should just, regardless, take your own photos anyway.
As a tenant, you should.
Okay.
You should. I mean, you can even download a blank form on the internet. I'm sure the Googles have it. Like, I would just, you know, just a checklist of, like, you know, kitchen, bathroom, like walls, counters, ceiling, lights. Like, I would turn on every light switch, you know, make sure all the light bulbs are working. I would check the air vent and make sure that it's clean, because if it's dirty, you don't want to get charged for the AC having to be serviced because of a dirty air vent. If it wasn't your dirty air vent, it was the other person's dirty air vent. You know what I mean? The toilet, you know, like anything and everything. I would like walk around, do like a walk around outside, just check everything. It takes time, but at the end, it protects you and your security deposit. Because you want that money back, and we don't want to keep it. I know people just think, like, people think that, like, you know, landlords and property managers are just out here trying to keep your money. We don't even get it. Like, it's not even our money.
Like you don't get to pocket my security deposit.
No.
What?
No, legally, we can't even keep it in our bank account. Like, it has to be in its own escrow account. Like, we can't touch it.
Wow.
Because it doesn't belong to us. It's your money. It's always your money until you move out, and like we're just a house for it. And the only reason that we have it is if somebody puts a fist through the wall and they don't repair it or they don't get it fixed, and we have to do it. And so then we have to hire people to do it, and then we have to pay them. And what money are we going to pay them with? We're going to pay them with your security deposit money. Or if, it's in your lease that you're supposed to leave it cleaned. Some people's leases, like, you have to clean the carpets and you have to clean the apartment, like, or house or whatever before you leave. If you don't do that, we have to hire people to do that, and that comes out of your security deposit. Sometimes there's money left over and that gets sent to you. Sometimes it costs more money than the security deposit. A lot of times it costs more money than the security deposit, and then we bill you and never see it.
Yeah.
Ever. Nobody's paying that bill until they're trying to live somewhere else and they're getting denied because of that outstanding balance. And then they're like,
fine.
Hey, listen, I think I owe you some money.
Here's that $200 for the pest control, like, whatever.
I don't know how I missed it.
Crazy.
But I need to pay you. Really?
So what kind of things will guarantee you won't get your security deposit back?
Just destroying a place. Honestly.
Like, what do people do?
Oh, Lauren. We could have a whole series on what people have done to houses. I have a photo album in my phone that, like, until I became a property manager, I thought it was like just in TV and movies. Like, people live like freaking crazy people. I'm telling you, okay, I'm going to tell you about the worst one.
Oh, yes.
So far. Other than the one that there were like needles everywhere and I was like kind of scared for my life. This was the worst one. We went because this lady paid her rent. We never saw her. She was a bit strange, I thought, when she first came. The person that I work with has a heart the size of like Texas. And so the requirements are strong, but
They're loose.
our arms are wide. And she, she fell for this lady's story, and we gave her the place. I swear to you, I promise, I don't think she ever lived there. I think she rented it for cats.
What?
I'm not lying. So every month we got the rent auto paid, right? Every month. Well, the guy that owned the building wanted to sell it. And so we had to give her notice, like, hey, listen, and her lease was up anyways. Like, hey, so here's your 60 days notice. Your lease is going to be up. The building is going to be for sale. Well, we never heard back from her, and she would never call us back. She would never answer the phone. She would never email us or text us back. And I was like, what? But her rent kept being paid. And so I was like, well, she's alive.
Right. She ain't dead.
So 1 month, it didn't get paid. And we were like, oh, something's up. Like, something's not right. Like, we got to go check. So we go over there, honestly, to see if she's dead in there. And this has happened, guys. Like, we have had to, there are houses that I've like labeled murder house. Like, there are places where we have found a dead person.
No. Yeah. Oh my God.
So this was one of those trips, was like, is she going to be dead? So, we're knocking on everything. Hello, we're here. We're making announcements, like, and no response. We unlock the door and we open it. And I swear to you, I wish that this was an exaggeration, but it is not. Knee deep. Like, we're having to push the door, and then we had to get like a broom to like push more. Empty cat food cans. Knee deep. Like, it was like, like a ball pit for children. That, but cat food cans.
Just
as far as the eye could see.
No.
I'm telling you, it was insane. I've never seen no cats.
What?
There were no cats. And I'm like, buried in these cat cans are definitely the cats. Like, somewhere. Yeah. Something. And so we keep going because I'm like, are we going to find her? And so we go into the bedroom, and there's a bed. There's not a dead person in it, which was nice.
Phew.
But it was soaked in cat pee.
Oh my God.
It was so gross. It got worse. If you can imagine that it could get worse from there.
Ew.
When we went to the bathroom, just use your imagination. Someone or something used the bathroom and the toilet for several months or years and never flushed it.
No.
Yeah. And it was so bad. So she didn't get her security deposit. Unfortunately.
I can't imagine why. Wait.
Things like that.
I mean, I have so many questions. Also, like, just picturing the smell of, like, the ammonia of the cat pee, the toilet.
Bad. It was so bad.
Oh, my God.
So bad.
I mean, I just don't. I mean, that's like a whole nother
And
probably
that was the worst, for sure.
Oh.
That will be burned into my memory forever. But people live like, I mean, people live horribly. And I don't know, like, you know, some people are like, well, it's because it's a rental. They don't want to take care of it. But honestly, I feel like some people, this is just the way that they are.
They just live in
Whether
filth.
they own it or they rent it, this is the way that it's going to go down.
Oh my God.
And it's just nasty. You would like, and then sometimes, like, I go back and find out, like, that they work at one of my favorite restaurants. And then I'm so sad.
No.
So sad.
I mean,
And then I have to never go there again because I'm like, no, I know what you do. I know how you live your life.
I've seen what those hands go home to,
And no.
what they bring out in the world.
No.
Oh God. So like
bad.
more common, less. I don't even know what I'm asking. What are more common things like that the average person might think of?
Lauren, like, this is more common than.
Ew, are you serious? People just living in filth?
Yes, it is more like, I didn't used to think that, but now I know it.
Ew.
And it's honestly disturbing.
Like all ages, all walks of life, people just have that lifestyle.
Yes.
God, y'all, that's
Just
nasty.
freaking slobs. Like, no home training.
Trying it, not
none.
housebroken.
None. It's gross. Like, none. I remember, like, just yesterday we went to a place and I just was like, I just know this is going to be a whole thing. And we walked in and it wasn't. It was nice and clean. And I was like, this is lovely. Thank the Lord that this person is nice and organized and clean and regular. Like, but that's rare.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I now expect it to be something horrible because that's normal. It's rare when we walk into a rental and it's clean and kept up and nice.
I mean,
It's crazy.
I'm telling you all now, if you're audio only, I'm looking right into the camera. This is your sign. If you're listening to this show and we're associated and you hear this voice, clean your shit.
Yes.
If you live in filth, knock it off.
Clean it.
Knock it off.
Call my cleaning lady. She's a lot. Don't call her. No.
Don't call her.
Oh, also, like, this is way off subject, but I have to tell you this because I always talk about the lady that is my cleaning lady, and we have a very special relationship. I do love her, so, like, I do have love for her. And she is a good person, but she said to me the other day when I was at the hospital, or she said to my mom that she left flowers up there for us. And it was the flowers that you saved.
Oh my God.
She tried to get credit.
She tried to claim them? Y'all.
Mom goes, I don't see any flowers except for some flowers that Lauren sent. And I was like, Lauren sent me flowers.
Okay, also, I'm glad she didn't steal the card.
I know.
I would have died if she took the card.
Like, if you're going to lie and take credit, like, hide the card.
Totally, it literally said from Lauren.
Card. That also reminds me of a time that Sunny sent me, one of the first times that Sunny sent me flowers to work, like, to be sweet. It was like a really sweet note, but it was addressed to some girl named Jessica.
You're like,
And I was like, who's Jessica?
I'll kill her.
Who is she? But I have that card on my dresser.
Oh my God, Jessica.
I was like, who's Jessica?
If y'all ever want to spice it up, just be like, call me Jessica.
Or am I Jessica? What does she look like?
Oh my God. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just so shook. Ew, that is so disgusting.
Yeah, it's bad. Don't ever, I mean, maybe you know what? Maybe dip your toe into property management for a hot minute if you're wondering how you're living and if it's right.
God.
It's bad. It's rough out there.
Yeah, that's bad. So what are the, well, this is my last question, then we'll wrap up renting. What are the pros of renting and what are the cons?
Okay, so obvious pros are maintenance things. You know, like you're not responsible if the HVAC goes out. You're not responsible if the toilet is leaking or pipes burst or something magnificent happens that costs a lot of money. You just got to pick up the phone and call your landlord and they handle it. The cons are, some people say it like this. Some people say like that your rent money is just throwing money out of a window. I disagree, because you're not throwing money out of a window. You're paying money to live somewhere.
Right. You have a roof over your head.
Yeah. It's a cost, you know. I can say that about dinner or lunch or breakfast or whatever. Like, I'm just throwing money out of a window because it doesn't live in you forever.
Yeah.
You know, like it's waste also. But it's not an investment. Like, home ownership is an investment, right? So, and a lot of times your mortgage is less than your rent. So you're paying less money and it's going to something you own, you know, like forever and ever and ever until you sell it.
Yeah.
So that's the major pro. The con on that is if the pipes bust in the wall and you got water everywhere, or the roof is bad, or the HVAC is bad, that's on you, bud. Like, you got to fix it, or you got to live with a hole in the ceiling.
Yeah.
If you can't afford to fix it.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of the quick and dirty of it. I mean, it's just as simple as that. One's an investment, one's a cost. One is low maintenance, one can be high maintenance. And that's kind of it. Obviously, home ownership is more ideal, right? Because you own it. It's an investment. Even if you don't plan on living there forever, it's not your forever home. You can always sell it. You can rent it. You always can produce income from it.
Yeah.
And, you know, you were saying, like, you see a lot of your friends at this age, like, buying houses and stuff. People are buying houses younger and younger and younger. And it's because it is a smart idea. And you'd be shocked at how qualified you actually are to buy a house. Like, you feel like you aren't, but you are, you know?
Well, that's like literally my first question. Like, what all do you actually need to be able to purchase a home?
It depends on the type of loan you get. I've had, so I work with a couple of different mortgage lenders, and if anybody is ever interested in, you know, going down this route or exploring it, you know, shoot me a message and I'll be happy to share their information with you because they're great. And they're very intelligent and very, educational, like on what, like, even if you aren't ready, they tell you how to get ready, like what you need. They'll take a look at what you got going on and they'll be like, oh, okay, this is not a big problem. Like, you just have to do this adjustment, this adjustment, and this adjustment, and then in X amount of months, you're good to go. So it's very helpful. And like I said, a lot of times it's cheaper to own your own house than to rent.
Yeah.
Even with the maintenance stuff, like the money that you're saving in a house payment versus a rental, you could set aside and having a savings account for if something goes wrong, then you have the money to fix it. There's also home warranties. There's one company that we deal with, and they have a home warranty that you can purchase when you buy the house, and it covers literally everything. Like, the HVAC goes out, they replace it. If the refrigerator stops working, they replace it. And it's like $500 a year, and that's nothing.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's definitely avenues to make it worthwhile. But there's also like all types of lending options. There's first time home buyer programs. The city of Savannah has this program that's incredible. And again, if you want information on this or the person that is head of it, reach out. It's called the Dream Makers program. The city and the state have it. And what's awesome is you can combine both.
Oh, cool.
And it's down payment assistance. So like if you don't get the type of loan that gives you the no down payment option and you have to pay a down payment, they will give you the money for that down payment. And it's basically like another loan, but you don't have to pay it back until you're done paying your mortgage, which
That's
is
cool.
30 years away.
Yeah.
So, and then that payment is pennies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the city has so much money in this program and not enough people taking advantage of it that they're basically begging people to do this.
Yeah.
And because like anything, program and government wise, if it's not being used, it's going to get tossed.
Mm-hmm.
So if people don't take advantage of it, then they're not going to get the funds for it. Mm-hmm. And so it's going to go away. So they want people to do it. And so there's all of these different options and things available to make it possible to own a home, even at a very, very, very young age.
I've said this before, but like in my head, when I think about buying a home, like I have to have like 20 grand to like just hand my realtor, and that's not real. Like, so if I have like $5 grand in
if
savings,
you're buying a home, you're not paying your realtor anything. A real estate agent gets paid by the person that's selling the home. Mm-hmm. So if I'm representing you as a buyer, you pay me $0. Mm-hmm. I only get paid if we find a house, and the commission is paid by the selling side.
What the heck? Okay.
Yeah.
So if I have like $5 grand in my savings account and I have like decent credit, like, can that person get a home? Like, is that crazy?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I don't know why I think to have a home, I have to be like really good to go. Like,
No. And that's why I said like to speak with these lenders, and they'll look at all of your financials. They'll look at your income. They'll look at everything, and they'll tell you exactly where you're at. Mm-hmm. And then they'll give you a pre-approval amount. And then that's how you know what to look for.
Okay.
So you'll get a pre-approval letter, and then you'll be like, okay, I'm pre-approved for up to $200,000. But then you want to look at, okay, you might not necessarily want to max that out, right? Because you want your house payment to be at X amount of dollars. Same as like when you're shopping for a car or whatever, like you have in your head how much you want to pay per month. Mm-hmm. And so you just have that conversation with your lender, like, hey, this is where I want to be. This is kind of where I want to live with interest rates, home insurance and taxes and the cost of the house. What realistically do I need to be looking at price range? And they'll tell you, and then you communicate that with your realtor, and then you hit the ground running. And
that
you just
so
get to
fun.
do the fun stuff.
Yeah, the fun part is looking at houses. When my family's moved, the house shopping part is so fun.
It is.
I mean, I'm sure it's a headache if you're the one. I'm like along for the ride. I like it to get Chick-fil-A on the way to the house.
And some people don't love it. I don't love it.
Really?
And it sounds terrible coming out of a realtor's mouth. Which is why I love working for investors, because I love the numbers side of it. Mm-hmm. I love looking at a property and seeing how much it costs and seeing how much money it can make somebody, or like, yeah, this is a good investment, or no, this isn't a good investment. I love like running the cap rate and the pro forma and, doing the comps and the market research. Like, I love the numbers part of it. I don't love going and looking at this bathroom or this kitchen, or I freaking hate it.
Yeah.
But my ex, it was his favorite thing in the world to do, and so like literally every weekend he wanted to go look at houses, and I'd be like,
why?
Kill me. And so when I became a realtor, he was like, seriously?
Yeah.
Seriously, like you're living in your hell. Like, I know, I kind of am. But it's different.
It's different. It's probably different when it's you versus for someone else too.
It is, yeah, for sure. I do like looking at like houses that have a lot of potential. Mm-hmm. Like to me, like looking at the cookie cutter, like ready to, turnkey, ready to go houses is like, meh.
Fine.
I love going to a dump and being like, how cool could this be though?
Right.
Like that's
rip up
what
this
I
floor.
Like.
And
yeah.
That's
like
cool.
Throw this wall away. Uh-huh. That's what I like.
I really liked shopping for rentals, and then I hit like month 6 of it whenever shit was crazy, and I was like, I'm so sick of this. And I remember I walked into one apartment, and it was a group showing, which I also hate. There was like 15 people.
We do that. It's just easier.
It is, and it was like August, or no, it was like the month before August. What is that?
Especially in this market, because
July?
you have so many people, like, we'll put something up for rent and have 40 emails and calls in like 10 minutes. And so we're like, okay, here's what we're going to do.
All of you meet. It was July,
Tuesday at
though.
11 o'clock.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was July, and it was me and a bunch of students, and we walked into this one, and it was just cat stink, like in your face.
Oh, I
and
can't do the smell. See, that's another reason I hate it.
messy, just like clearly, like no one even thought, like, let's clean up before they come show 15 people this house. And I remember I got in the car and called Cameron. I said, "You're on. I'm done looking at apartments. You're up. You have to go."
You're it.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
God.
horrible. Okay, so this is a dumb question.
I disagree.
Thank you. Can you explain to me, like, I'm 5 years old, like, how do you pay off a house? Like, how can some people pay it off in 15 years and some people can pay it off in 30? Like, can you explain that?
And that goes down to the type of loan you get.
Okay.
So there are 15-year loans, there are 10-year loans, there are 5-year loans, there are 30-year loans. Like, it depends on what type of mortgage you get. Also, there are strategies to pay your house off faster, even if you get a traditional, conventional, like 30-year loan. You can pay your one payment in 2 payments, and that cuts down the time. And it has to do with the interest and the amortization schedule. So, like, say your house payment, and this is unrealistic, but I'm using easy numbers. Say your house payment is $600 a month, and you pay $300 on the 1st and $300 on the 15th.
Okay.
That's going to pay your house off faster, even though it's the same amount of money. But the way that you're paying it is going to pay it off faster.
That is so interesting.
That actually goes for cars too.
Really?
Yeah.
And so you just have to have somebody good that you're working with to give you these options and explain to you how it works.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
just tell you.
Yeah,
You know, because
yeah.
it's an option for literally everyone.
Yeah.
But you just have to have the knowledge.
That is so interesting. And so also, like, if you, like, you can choose to pay a down payment, right? Like, if I have a bunch of money, I can just start that.
Absolutely. And that's encouraged because then you're going into your home with equity, which is fabulous. You would love that. And that's definitely encouraged and sometimes required.
Yeah. And so are there people out here just like paying for a whole house with cash? Like,
Yeah.
Damn.
A lot of my buyers are cash buyers.
that is so
It
cool.
is wild to me. I remember one of the first ones, and it was for that $1.2 million building. And they told me their budget was $500,000. Okay. When they first started looking. So when I sent them this listing that was listed at $1 million, it was not in a serious way. It was in a like, here, let me explain to you what something that you're saying you want costs in
Right.
Savannah. Not in a like, I think you might actually get this way. And so there was a bidding war, of course, and it got up past the cap that we put on because I'm going to circle back to explain to you escalation clause.
Okay.
But it got past our top escalation. And so I just, in my head, I threw it out. Like, I was like, they're not going to get it. Right. And I called the guy. I waited a whole day because I was so sad that he didn't get it because he really wanted it. And I waited a whole day, and then I called him and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, it went, he was like, how much up did it go? And I was like, I think they just beat you by like, it was like $10,000-$20,000. And he was like, he just sent me a screenshot of his account, and it was like, oh.
What, he's like bank account?
Yeah.
Ah.
And he was like, call them back and tell them we will beat that price. We will beat it. We will beat it. And I was like, oh
shit.
I didn't know. I didn't know that. And I'm like looking at the thing. He was like, this is just my wife's checking account. And I'm like, who are you?
I want to be like that. I want to see a house and just say, name your price.
So, but I do want to talk about an escalation clause because this has been a very good strategy in house buying in this market.
What does that mean?
So my best way to explain this is like eBay of house buying. Okay. Old school eBay, you know, you would go in, you would see something that you like, and you would put in your top bid, and then eBay would bid for you up to that number. And if you want it, you want it. If you didn't, you didn't. Right. So this is the same. So we would say, okay, this house is listed for $200,000. I'm willing to pay $250 for it, but I'd prefer not.
Right.
Right. So what I would do is I would say, okay, our offer is 200, which is what you're asking, with an escalation clause up to 250 in increments of $1,000. So every time you get an offer that's higher than my offer, I'm going to beat it by $1,000 up to 250. So that way you don't lose it because of something that you could have afforded, but you also don't pay more than you needed to.
And there's like a date that's like the cutoff date.
And then they have to send me all the offers that we beat and prove that they were real.
I love that.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's
that sounds fun.
Strategic.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I would be like, send me live updates like to my realtor. I'd be like, give me a play-by-play.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Somebody wrote in and asked why interest rates are so high right now, and is it smart to wait for that to go down
So
to buy a house?
interest rates were lower and house prices were higher for a minute. Now interest rates are higher and house prices are getting a little lower. So it evens out. Like
It all just comes out in the wash.
It really does. Interest rates go up and down based on the economy, and that has really nothing to do with us as realtors or even the mortgage lenders. Like, this is set by the government and the people that are in charge of all the money things, the Alan Greenspan's people, or whoever the crap it is now. I find
No
just
idea.
dated myself. I think he's still in charge.
I'm like, who is that?
But is it Coleman? It's not.
What's his job title?
He retired. He's done.
What if he's like dead? Like, how old was he?
I mean,
Is he old?
I know my cousin used to work for him. He was a pretty big deal.
Okay, so he's like not that old.
2006.
He's been dead since 2006?
No, he's been done being the
Oh,
money guy.
I was like, no way, I was kidding.
Who's the new Alan Greenspan? I'm so embarrassed I don't know this.
What's his title? I don't know who he was because I was
Man in charge of money. Jerome Powell. That's a strong
like for the
name.
country. He's in charge of the money.
Yep, pretty much. Head of the Federal Reserve. Yeah,
Shit.
pretty freaking fancy.
Damn.
Just printing that money and just blowing it out the window for everyone, for all of us peasants.
So they set the interest rates.
So they're in charge of all of that, and that's all based on the economy and how they're trying to control, like, boosting the economy, things like that.
Okay.
So sometimes they have to go up and sometimes they have to go down. And currently it's a little up, but even though it's up from what it was, it's still not high.
Okay.
Back in the early 2000s, it was in the teens. And now I think it's like at like 7.
Okay.
Which is, so we're still in single digits. It's still good.
So like worst time to purchase a home would be like super high interest rates plus super high prices.
Yeah, but you're probably not going to find that because one will
Okay.
reflect the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. So people out there who are looking at the interest rates, like just go ahead and look at some houses you would advise.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's going to even out. Your payment is still going to be the same. And then also when it goes down, if it goes down, you can always refinance. You've got equity in your home and get it at the lower rate.
Let's say I buy a home and then in 3 years, like I have to move. What are my options?
Your options are to sell the home or your options are to rent out the home.
Is that hard to rent out the home? Like, is that a big deal?
No.
Really?
No. We can't keep anything empty. Like, I mean, we rent things out. Like I said, we put something up for rent and like 10 minutes, we have 40 calls and emails. Like, the thing is just filtering through and getting the right person in there. The important thing is if you're not going to manage it yourself, which is a pain in the butt, the most important thing is getting a good property manager, because you want somebody that is going to do those move in and move out reports and is going to be really strict on who they put in there and picky, you know. And that's what we like to be, is really picky. And because, like I said, we work for the homeowner. We're not trying to be mean to people and not let them have a place to live. But our ultimate job is to protect the person that we work for, and that's the homeowner. And so we want to protect their property and their investment. So that's important. Like, if you rent it out, it's not hard to rent it out, and generally the management fees can be built into the rent. That's generally what we do. Like, we'll look at, like, okay, it can rent for this amount of money, we'll add a little bit extra, and this will cover you on our fees and still give you the money that you need to get for rent.
And so is it difficult, like, if you're not done paying off that house, like, can you then move somewhere and buy another home? Like, is that hard to do?
Nope, it isn't. Because then you'll just show the mortgage company that you have this house and that and it's being rented out.
It's making money.
It's making money. You just send copies of the leases and things like that. This happens all the time.
Wow. See, that's what I've had this conversation, like, with my parents. I'm like, I mean, I'm so young. Like, what if I don't want to live here for 30 years? And everybody that I talk to is like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Buying a house doesn't have to be like a marriage commitment to that house. Yeah. It's just an investment. And it's smart to do as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to buy a house, Katie.
Well, I know it, girl.
So someone wrote in this question, and you're going to have to explain to me, one, the question and the answer. Someone's asked how to leverage money for new properties. What does that mean?
Okay, so this just means, how do I free up some funds to buy some more stuff? Like,
okay,
how do I free up this money to buy more properties?
Okay.
Right? There's several ways. One is to take out a loan on the property that you own, against the property that you own. And if you have equity in that property, it's super easy to do. You could take out an equity loan and use that money to invest into the next thing. Another thing is to rent it out and make money on it. And there are some, and I'm trying to think if Ryan told me the name of the type of loan, but if you find a property, sorry, excuse me, if you find a property that is already an income producing property, like it's already making rent, all you need is a heartbeat and a credit score. Did he say a heartbeat and a credit score, or a heartbeat?
Katie's like, shit.
It might just be a heartbeat.
You just have to be a warm body?
Yeah, because the bank already sees this is an investment. They're not going to lose money, because if you don't pay for it, it's already making money. If they have to take it over, they're going to make that money themselves. Already. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I would say to this person, talk to your lender, or talk to a good lender. And I have like a handful of really great lenders here locally in Savannah. And even, some that are not local, that work all over the country, that are just incredibly knowledgeable and know how to make you make the most of your money. They definitely do not discount what a lender is capable of. But that is one way, is to borrow against the home or the properties that you have. Like one of my cash buyers, like that's what he does. He'll buy something cash, and then he'll turn around and get a loan back on it, and then use that money to go and buy the next thing cash. And then he'll get a loan back on that, and then use that money to buy the next thing cash.
And so like he's making a lot of money, right? Like it sounds like a rat race, but it's not. He's making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Damn.
He's making a lot of money. Yeah. That's all he does. It's
How
his
do you-
only job.
I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, and he doesn't even live here. And so he's not even like boots on the ground having to go look. Like, that's me. I'm doing that.
You're doing it. So why... Well, two questions. Do you think it's important to I feel like I know the answer, but to research and read reviews of property management companies before you rent from them?
Yes, 100%.
Like as the renter?
Yeah. I see on like Facebook groups and stuff all the time of people complaining about property managers.
I
Like,
do too.
do not ever rent from this person. Oh my God, it's a total nightmare. And I believe it. I mean,
Yeah.
thankfully in my lifetime, I've never rented from some horrible monster person, but I've definitely heard stories and seen it happen.
Yeah. And then kind of the other side of that, why do you think it's important to find a realtor or a property manager that you vibe with? Like if you're selling your house
because
or
you're gonna
whatever.
spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, you need them in your corner. Like their job is to look out for you and not for themselves. And sometimes that's not always the case.
Yeah.
But you can tell, you know, that by like being around the person and seeing like what they're showing you, you know, like if you tell a realtor, hey, I'm Lauren, I'm looking for a house, this is my budget. And then they're showing you houses that are like $100,000 over your budget. That's rude.
Right.
Why are you going to make me fall in love with a house that I can't freaking afford?
Yeah.
Like that's not nice, you know?
Oh,
So you want somebody that's going to be respectful of your wishes and your wants and also be real with you.
yeah.
Yeah.
What is something that you wish more renters knew?
One was what I mentioned earlier. It is okay and preferable to call it a maintenance issue. Two is communication is so huge. Like if you can't pay your rent on time or something's going on, a phone call, a text, an email goes a million miles versus ghosting us. Like seriously, like we aren't out to get anybody. We're not the bad guys. Like we're not trying to, you know, evict people all the time. It's actually a horrible process on our end, logistically and emotionally, and then physically because we have to move your crap out. But if you would just give us a heads up, like, hey, listen, I'm running a little late this month, or hey, listen, I got sick and I was in the hospital and I missed work, and so now I've got this money issue. Let us help you come up with a plan to catch it up versus go like not communicating and then letting that debt build up to an unattainable amount.
Yeah. I feel like that goes across so much in life. Like whether, I mean, I learned this in business doing sales and stuff. Like whoever needs the money from you, I don't care if you give me $10 at a time. I just want to know that you're trying to pay
and that's
it.
the whole thing. Like that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, and that's where communication comes into play for sure.
I have had one time whenever the first of the month was on like a Saturday.
Yeah.
And I'm so good during the week, but you know, on Saturdays, I'm not worried about nothing. It's my
it's
one day.
Saturday. Yeah.
And I woke up Sunday and I was like, I'm like scrambling for my phone. I like sent the Zelle rent and I like called my landlord. I was like, I'm so sorry. He's like, you're fine. I didn't even notice it's been 4 hours. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like I was so embarrassed.
Oh, there are not many people like that.
It was horrible. Like, oh my God. And then I literally said, I have a monthly reminder on my phone and my computer.
That's amazing.
And the calendar.
Yeah,
I was
but
like,
I mean, it's just that's awesome.
thanks.
Yeah.
Second question, what advice do you have for first-time home buyers?
Get a good realtor, get someone that you vibe with, get someone that you know is going to be respectful of you and what you want and be real with you. Like I said, you know, like, you see those shows that are like, I want this house on the beach and I want it to have a pool and I want it to be a walk-in shower and I'm a dog trainer, you know, like you see all these things and you're like, there's no freaking way like this is going to happen. Like you need a realtor that's going to be like, calm down. Okay, let's make a list.
Right. A priorities
of all
list.
the things that you want. And let's make a list of now. So what I like to do is I like to find out what you want and then I'll show you houses that are exactly what you want and then show you the price tag on that and be like, okay, do you see what I mean? Like you can have it, but this is how much it costs. Now let's look at the category of home that you say you want your payment to be in. All right, this is what this looks like. all right, it's not what you wanted. It's not what you had. It doesn't check off all your boxes, but it checks off this box, and this box.
Right.
And then eventually later down the road, you can turn this into that and check off that box, things like that.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, now I'm just spitballing questions. We'll wrap it up, y'all, I promise. But what are like the top things that people come in there and they're like, I can't live without this in my home?
I want an open concept. I want it's HGTV has expanded everyone's home vocabulary extensively. I want an open concept. I want a wooded lot. I want an ensuite.
What does that mean?
That's a master bathroom.
An ensuite? Why don't you just say everyone wants a master bathroom?
Oh, you want a bathroom off your bedroom?
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah. I want an ensuite. But it's a closet too.
That's funny. What's trending right now, like design wise? You know, like are people still into farmhouses and shit?
Yeah, they really are.
Really?
They really are, which is wild to me. And that is so out of the realm of what I love.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to regret saying this on a microphone as a realtor because I obviously want business and want to make money. But when somebody says to me, I want to move to Pooler, I want to stab myself. No! I hate Pooler so much. And it's only because that's all it is. It's freaking cookie cutter houses that are, all the same. Like multiple people in your neighborhood have your same house.
Yeah.
Just in a different color.
A different color
farmhouse. You know what I mean? Like, I love things that are weird.
I love a weird, quirky house.
I love a weird house. That's why, I'm soon to be moving, and I'm very excited because it's so freaking weird. It's even like weirder now because we found a dungeon and
weird.
Probably not a real dungeon, but it does lead to the ground, and it is a thing that you lift from the bottom of a closet upstairs that goes all the way to the daggone dirt.
That's insane.
Yeah, and isn't that cool? Like, that's weird. Like, what's down there?
Also, like, what was that hole in the ground for?
And
like,
why was the hole necessary?
Right.
These are things I love.
I love that too. I love anything with
But trending, it is the cookie cutter house with the yard and the sidewalk and then the little bit more yard and the siding.
Yeah.
Or the little bit of brick and then the rest siding because all the way brick is expensive. That's what's trending. And then the shiplap.
What is that?
That's like the farm wood on the walls that Chip and JoJo made like the most popular thing in the world.
Yep. The thing is, those houses are pretty.
Anything that Chip and Joanna Gaines say is trending.
They set the standard.
Yeah, and I love them.
Yeah.
I am not here to hate on Chip and Joe. I freaking love them. And I love their style. I think they're cute and I think their whole family is just amazing, but that ain't what I'm looking for. I want weird stuff like a neon chip on my wall.
That's what I like too.
Yeah.
When you walk in my house, it don't make any sense.
Like
I've
got a Johnny Cash Panhandle Slim like sit front and center in my house, and I have a Waffle House one coming. Like I want it to be weird. I want it to be quirky and us. You know what I mean? Like I don't want it to be the best that Kirkland's has to offer.
Yeah. Yep. I have a simile. Are you ready?
Yeah.
And I haven't even recorded the intro yet, but when I do, this is gonna hit.
Just land.
Chip and Joanna are to houses as Kim is to my Skims.
Yes.
That was pretty good.
That was good.
She sets the standard, and that's why I'm sitting here not able to breathe. I've wiggled around 100 times, but Kim K said it looks good.
But listen, I'm not. Sarah Blakely is a genius. That's the girl that did Spanx, right?
I have no idea.
I think it is. She invented Spanx and she set the bar high, and she deserves everything that she has in life right now because she is just shaping us up right. But Kim came in and she was like, I see what you've done here. I'm going to do a little bit better because this stuff ain't going to roll down. You're going to have a hole to pee through. And everything's going to land right. And it does.
Yeah.
Kim even gave us pregnant girl Spanx.
Pregnant girl Spanx. That's amazing.
It is. It is.
Amazing.
Kim, I'm a fan. A very best friend of mine is not a fan of the Kardashians, and we clash on this hard. I don't watch the Kardashians. It's not a show that I don't watch a lot of TV just because I have a million of the works, but I still love her. Like, I love what she's doing with my shapewear.
Mm-hmm. I think she's fabulous.
And I love what she does for people. Like, she's a good person, actually. A lot of people don't know all the stuff that she does behind the scenes. And she's actually incredible. And she's very smart.
Mm-hmm. I gave a presentation on her in college. I did.
Oh my God, I want to see it.
I need to find a video. It was a group presentation, and we were talking about
amazing.
It was her like prison like reform work that she does.
That
and
is just incredible.
I gave a speech about it.
I am so inspired by her prison work, actually.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, anyways.
That feels like a good way to end it. We're going to end it on Kim K.
We're going to end it on Kim K and Skims. So if you sign up for her text alerts, you'll know exactly when the new things launch, and you can get it before they sell out, because they sell it in a hot minute.
Yes. And text me about sizing.
Yeah, that's important.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much, Katie. That was fabulous. I feel like I learned a lot.
Thank you. Thanks for letting one of the chicks be on the chick.
Come on, anytime. Katie's in this room every time we record. She's literally right behind the camera, right over there.
I'm usually in the background, but you know what? Here's the thing. I'm going to let Calvin keep the spotlight that he wanted, that he pushed me out of for a while. I don't feel like I'm going to come back on here until this child has exited my body.
Oh my gosh. Can her like camera debut? Like,
yeah.
Can we bring her on?
Cameron can just hold my baby.
Yeah. Let's set Cameron and the baby right here.
That sounds good. And I'm glad we're wrapping up because I got to pee.
All right, we got to go. All right, y'all. New episodes drop every single Monday morning. You can watch us as a web show on YouTube or listen to us as a podcast only on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you can get a podcast. Please don't forget to follow, rate, review, subscribe, all the things. Thank you so much for being here. We love y'all.
And my Instagram is, I think, katie.siplon.
Yep.
If you have any real estate questions or want any of that contact information, I'm happy to shoot it over anytime. Just slide into my DMs.
Yeah,
if
seriously.
That's still a thing people say.
Send her a DM. Send the podcast a DM. Like, we want to hook you up. Let her sell your house or buy you one.
Or I'll just send you in the direction of someone to get you started.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We'll see you next week.
Thanks.
Bye.